And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's Satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with Mystic Song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called I Am Here. In the ocean waves, I play without any care. I age in snowy hair, rejoicing in youth at a spring fair. Breaking the mountains, moving the stars. I am the all-powerful wind, giving prizes and joy. I am I hold the stars and wrap myself in the doft clouds. I mingle with tender dew on morning flowers, giving wings to the flying white swans. Opening the box to rob your fragrance, I blow the trumpet of thunder and gather clouds, causing the rains to run over the universe. Laughing in snow We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is November the 14th, 2018, Wednesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 89. And now Pujya Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamacharam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha in Utpatti Prakarana, section 107. We are moving towards 115. Let me give a subtle little correction. 117. Sage Vasistha gives in nutshell the essence of Vedantic wisdom. That's good news. O Rama, even from one's very childhood, one must study the Vedas under the guidance of a spiritual preceptor and develop adhikaritva. Adhikaritva means to deserve, to attain enlightenment, all the qualities that make you a deserving aspirant. And let me give you a summary of that. Vivek, Vairagya, or sometimes we repeat it first. Vairagya, Viveka, Shat Sampat, and Mumukshutva. Vivek, subtle insight that body, mind, intellect, all these are your equipments. Be clever. Don't be worked by your instruments. But you should be the master of your instruments. Go into the kitchen, be clever. Don't let the knives work on you. And that quality, Vivek, you go on understanding that your body, you can think of it in different angles, is a divine gift. Amazing. You could not imagine to create a body like that. Everything is awe-inspiring, every aspect of your body. But all this is an instrument. Your body, your mind, your intellect, your ego, your unconscious, all these are your instruments. That insight goes on growing, then that's Viveka Buddhi. You are not any one of these, but you are beyond all these, beyond the 3 bodies, 5 sheaths. And that Viveka movement is progressive. Every quality I will describe is a progressive movement. Next is Vairagya. As you begin to understand that your goal is to discover your essential nature. Any movement where you begin to forget your own self and go after others, become selfless. That selflessness is worst. Selfless has 2 types. With big S, selfness. Selfless, ignoring the big self. That will lead you to destruction. With a little less, selfless. To bring about effacement of your little self, then that's what leading yourself to enlightenment. But what real self, that is the source of all your joy. Realizing that self, all your desires are fulfilled. You become aptakama. All that you needed to perform and accomplish is completed. You become kritakritya. With that profound opportunity before you, if you lose it, that's a deluded movement. That's a tragic movement. I will not go into too much detail, but let me give you that. Vivek, constant understanding, you are beyond body, mind, intellect. And that understanding requires creating a change in your mental atmosphere. If gross impurities keep your mind gripped, then the knowledge I am Brahman is not well assimilated. And there is a risk. That's why great sages ancient times had tremendous control over. Not everyone come to Vedanta class. There were adhikaris where they were only allowed. I'm not going there. The risk is, when you start working upon I am Brahman, then you begin to look down upon others. These are all roaches. I am Brahman. It's big ego inflation. So, subtle point therefore has to be understood. The more clarity of understanding, which is associated with humility. But before I go into deeper, more details, just simple data: Vivek, Vairagya. The more you begin to understand that the objects of this world, or even you are staying in the world of time and space, is only a transient development. It is not the reality, like a dream. So if that point goes on developing and your mind does not develop fascination this life I couldn't do this. Oh God, give me next life. Vairagya must develop. Next quality is called Shat Sampat, sixfold virtues. Literal meaning is sixfold treasure. The treasure is beyond measure. Shama, serenity. That's the start. Give value to your mental serenity. Time passes, day, night, weeks, months. Your mind is always looking for what did I gain? Those greeneries, green money. But the big treasure that can be yours, you completely go on ignoring it. And that treasure is enjoying the serenity of mind, allowing the mind not to go into the past, not to go into the future. Become like a little lake, calm, shimmering, smiling, and enfolding the sky. The sky reflects in the little calm lake. So very little mind consider like your brain. I'm joking, but it's kind of allegorical. Human mind seems to be very little. But it has the capacity, when it becomes calm, still, capacity to enfold a boundless vision. Gagar mein sagar. In a little jar, the whole ocean enters. Your mind has that type of capacity. And it begins with serenity. Learn the art of serenity. In order to learn that, you go into details, you must get into yoga exercises. Bring balance in your body. Maintain higher level of healthy style of life. Allow every day to have a rhythmic pattern. Don't be too abrupt in the plans of everyday life. One day waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, another waking up at 7 o'clock. Next day you don't want to wake up at all. So if you had allowed that type of a harmony to enter your personality and a focus on enriching yourself profoundly with an understanding that when you look for happiness running around in the world, you are wasting a lot of your time. You may feel that you have enjoyed it, but it takes sometimes weeks or months to realize that you didn't. So people go on losing what is the most important, really strengthening to your bones. I'm not talking medicine. That one ignores it. So, if you follow these, then the mind develops an amazing fascination to enjoy silence. In that silence, there is a movement towards attuning with God, a revelation of you are not the body, you are Satchidananda. All that doesn't come all at once, but in degrees, even slightest glimpse of that. In a dark room, if you open a little window, even a slight little opening gives you big relief. So serenity brings big relief. That's Shama. Therefore, Yoga Vasistha already talked about it, 4 gatekeepers. And Shama was the beginning. Shama, Santosh, contentment, Satsang, good association, Vichar, reflection. Who am I? But that was 4 gatekeepers. But here in this context, I'm talking about 6 virtues. And first one is serenity, and I've talked about it so far. Then comes Dhamma. Dhamma is to consider yourself master, play the role of being a master, not a slave. Your mind and senses, they are all your instruments. How can you utilize them in the best way possible? And it's not a very big project that you need to work in a detailed manner. It's a revelation. You are working for who am I? Who am I? A revelation, I am Brahman. So for that purpose, you go on controlling your mind and senses. And then come into a very practical level. In this world, we have various opportunities. And God also, led by your good karma, God provides situations and circumstances in such a way that sometimes you don't have any choice but to control the mind and senses. I'm not going to go into too much detail. The point is that has to be understood. And that again is the degrees. Shama, Dhamma. Uparati. Your rati means where you find delight. Your delight is in the world of time, space, causation. In the world of objects of the world. That rati keeps your soul in a state of bondage. Because all that joy and happiness you get from the world is like mirage. So, don't stay looking for quenching your thirst from the waters of mirage. Don't become those deer. When they are thirsty, they go on bouncing towards mirage. It looks so shimmering water. And it is such a tragic development. So, your rati should not be, your delight should not be in the world that is transient. Your rati should be to the process that will lead you to enlightenment. That's uparati. Upar. Not here, down. Your rati should be up. Next point is titiksha. That would be humorous interpretation. Titiksha. icha term relates to iksha. You are desiring. But if you are desiring, you lose your patience. You want to get the object of desire at once. But the quality is titiksha. Don't jump. Do titi. Hold back. Jump a little, but not big. And allow your mind to understand the details about it. Don't act up to a certain situation in such quickness that you lose your rationality. Don't be hasty. You are doing your mantras, and 7 days have passed, and what you expected didn't happen. On the contrary, unexpected things happen. Develop titiksha. Wait. Do not give it up. So titiksha is that once you have developed faith, a faith-based inner strength, now we will have ability to endure. No matter whatever may be the challenge, you will not let yourself become broken up. You will continue. Without asking how long will it take. That's again, I can give you a parable of old parables that once Sage Narada was going on to the heavenly world and he meets an ascetic. He was practicing intense austerity called Panchagni Tapas. Put fire all around and sat in the midday hot summer. So fire was 4 sides and the hot sun was on his head, so all Panchagni, 5 fires. The idea that now, with such terrific austerity, I'm going to have satisfaction. God will come and I will ask the boon according to my desire. I will not have him give the boon, I will ask. So that way he was practicing. As Narada passes by, he says, "Oh, sage, ask the Lord, how much more should I go on? How long will it take for me to succeed?" And then Narada goes and meets a devotee who was looking at a tree with blossoms, etc., the big tree, flamboyant type, lots of flowers, lots of leaves. And he was Hare Ram, Ram Ram, dancing on the tree. Narada, as passes by, he asks, "Narada, please tell the Lord, when will I have his darshan?" And with a passage of time, Narada returns and he tells that ascetic who was doing intense austerity, he says, "God is very pleased. It will take you 5 more months and he will be there." 5 months? He jumped out. This terrible. What type of Lord is he? He doesn't know how much I'm suffering every moment in the midst of these fires. And then he goes to the devotee. And devotee looks at him. What's the news God gave me? What news did he give? Narada said, look, can you count all the leaves of this tree? So many years. But Lord will come. When all this set of tree leaves fall down, that's all. So don't get confused, new leaves will come. But just focus, I'm modifying this story. He started dancing more joyously. He said, what a wonderful thing. The Lord will come. Every day for him was already a joyous day. He was not suffering with fires all around. He was enjoying the love of God. Even to imagine his love was enough to keep his mind joyous. And then Lord will come. That's a big news. How long? Who cares? Let him take all the time. Because the time that you are waiting for is not dry and not dreary. It is not something boring or terrorizing. It is time that you are enjoying. That spirit has to come into sadhana. Not that inner agitation. How long? But how much are you enjoying day by day? How much? How fortunate you are. You have ears that give you words of scriptures. You have eyes to see God's glory, and so forth. So all this I talked about on the basis of titiksha. Have patience. Patience not in the sense of with the helplessness and with distress, but with subtle joy. Next, Shraddha, faith. Faith is very profound. Once you have developed faith, it comes from your heart. You become related to the depth of your heart. Now you are going to the very root of your personality, root source. And therefore, that becomes a profound quality of an aspirant. And Shraddha develops through satsanga, through good deeds, because instinctive Shraddha is there in everyone. But that instinctive faith has to be brought into a little more expressive state so that you begin to understand that what you are really, your deepest urge within you is to realize, who am I? The deepest urge in you is to realize God. And lastly, it's called samadhan. Live a life, not collecting impressions of agitation, impressions of chaos, impressions of stress. That's what people, as time passes by, that's what becomes highlighted, stress. Even before you retire, you are tired. How can that be remedied? Live a style of life that does not sustain boredom, sense of boredom in your life, day by day, develop a kind of a new, just like if you like tasty dishes, then no matter how much you have eaten, you don't keep the record of all the times you have eaten. You immediately become excited and go into the kitchen and exactly know where the spices are and start shaking the spices. I'll give you a simple illustration. In the same way, you are going to have the nectarine dish that will give you immortality. And day by day, you are going to receive some little item from that big kitchen. So therefore, don't live your life with a sense of boredom. Then you say, but then, what can a person do if it is all stormy and rain and so many things come in life? The whole one Upanishad speaks of it. Tapantam nanindya tadvratam. It's too hot. Don't go on saying hot, hot, hot. Have an umbrella, save yourself, but don't go on saying that. Realize all the energy of the sun is being soaked by the earth. All these trees, etc., they are receiving a storage of immense energy. And in divine creation, it has its tremendous purpose. So many bacteria are being destroyed, and humidity is being taken away, and so forth. So, be joyous. Tapantam nanindyat. And so, all right, then varshantam will be nindyat. If it rains too much, then what can a person do? So much rain. There again, the same logic. Think of all the trees, how they are dancing, enjoying, the birds, etc. In other words, situations will come of variations in your life. But those variations, look at it in such a way that understand there is a divine plan here. If there is something negative has come, look into it. It's giving you a teaching. Something you did by error, and that produced this. And now, therefore, tell it, thanks, I learned the lesson. Bye-bye. Don't live in a world with constantly holding on to grudge against others. But go on understanding. The world is constantly teaching you, learn lessons. And so that type of mind, that's called samadhan. No matter how situation is, mind reconciles with it. Let me reconcile my mind. So, out of 4 qualities, vivek, discriminative knowledge, vairagya, dispassion, 6-fold virtues, which I have just described, serenity, control of senses, uparati, delighting in the spiritual practice, uparati, not with the objects of the world, titiksha, endurance, shraddha, faith, samadhan, mind that does not hold contradiction towards anything. It remains in tranquility. Balanced mind. And the fourth quality, burning aspiration for God realization. Term burning should not be taken literally. It's allegorical term. If you have been suffering from some sickness and didn't have any digestive fire, and then you suddenly recovered, what pleases you? That burning feeling in your stomach. Similarly, due to lots of negativity, ignorance, etc., that keeps the soul in a state of diseased state. Its digestive fire has gone away. But the soul develops that type of a fire, hungry for attaining enlightenment, put it in simple way. You develop hunger. You don't like hunger? Thirst. Thirst for enlightenment. All these four make you adhikari. You are qualified. If you practice them to fullness, you don't remain adhikari. You attain the enlightenment. But when you begin to practice them to whatever degree, you are maintaining your status as an aspirant on the spiritual path. And then what type of sadhana you should do? That again, that also is fourfold. First stage, shravana. Now, remove the muck from your ears. Raga and dvesha, they are the muck. Your ears always like to hear things that your ego likes. That's one type of muck. And then another ear likes to hear only those things that speak of the ills about people whom you hate. See, hateful news. Someone you hated and someone has brought the gossip against the person. And we become all ears. That is what dramatized in the Devi Puja, Madhu Kaitabha. Durga Devi caused the destruction of Madhu and Kaitabha. Madhu, honey. Honey means, and Madhu, how did the Madhu Kaitabha emerge? From the ears of Lord Vishnu. Sleeping constantly in milky ocean, muck developed. Don't take it literally, Lord Vishnu had no problems. It's your problems are projected on God's, so that now you can hear your problems with more attention. But if someone were to simply start saying, I'm going to tell you about your problems, the very beginning you become upset. So that is another subtle point. Why all those stories are told. So then I was talking about Shravana, listening, that's the first stage. Manana, when you listen, now try to assimilate it. In very crude language, it's like chewing the cud, blood from the animals. Food has come, they grab it. And they keep it somewhere in the pouch. Now when they relax, they're enjoying it. When you come to Satsanga, grab it. When you are alone in your house, relaxing, chew the cud. Remember certain points and try to work upon it and see how can it be brought into your daily life. Chew the cud. So Shravana, Manana. Manana means reflection. Shravana means listening. Listen, reflect. Nididhyasana is mind's meditative movement. Mind doesn't hold theoretical knowledge. If our mind begins to, say for example, I'll give a simple illustration. When you're looking at the ocean and your mind goes after different waves and how those waves are faring in this oceanic setup, that's the picture of a mind that is not following the path leading to liberation. But the mind that follows the path does not look at wave after wave or whirlpool after whirlpool, understands all this setup is the ocean. So, instead of going after so many little things, you go after what is the reality behind all. Then that's called nididhyasana. What is the reality? And your mind goes on focusing on that which is the real. And the real again reveals to you according to your level of evolution. A Godward movement. An increasing awareness and understanding of what God is. Then what happens? Your entire mind begins to flow. It is not like you are gaining an object in a gift and there are many ingredients of the object and your mind is after so many things. Not like that. The mind is moving with profound concentration. The nididhyasana is leading you to brahmakara vritti. Brahman alone is, and your mind flows in a totally different way. And that leads you to sakshatkar, revelation. In the next section, section 117, Sri Vasistha continued, O Rama, there are 7 stages of ignorance and 7 stages of knowledge, and each have numerous subdivisions. The stages are described to help your mind for a general plan. But do not consider them, they are all just 7 points, 5 fingers here and 2 of this, so only 7. I'm joking. The whole world is described in terms of three gunas. But to understand three gunas and how they come together, permutation, combination, there are infinite variations. Similarly, these 7 highlights of ignorance and 7 highlights of ascending movement. 7 highlights of descending movement, 7 highlights of ascending movement. Then what are those 7 stages of ignorance? These are the 7 stages of ignorance. First, Bija Jagrata, root waking. This is a description where the steps follow algebraical terminology, they are minus. The -1 movement your attitude towards the world, your attitude has not well developed. You are just in a little childish state. But you are going to have a clearer fascination for the world. So that state, before you become aware of the reality of the world, that state is state of samskaras in your chitta. That's called Bija Jagrat, the root waking. And from that comes next waking state. That means you are awake to the world. Being awake to the world is not divine. The one who is enlightened, he is asleep to the world. I'm trying to give you a subtle understanding. But here, awake to the world means people who are finding their stability in a world of time, space. That type of state of mind. You are going to become stable. You are looking at everything fascinatingly. Mind holding so many ideas. Let me go to New Zealand. Let me go to Australia. And then go to Google. And so forth. And when you do like that, oh, he's a practical person. He's real. You are awake. Then comes Mahajagrat. Now you feel that you are really strong enough, foxy enough to grab things of this world. So it is not just a view of things, you are going to grab them. And thereby you are going to be totally a different person. That's called Mahajagrat. Great waking. Next is called Jagrat Sapana. Even that Mahajagrata state, now your mind goes into a state of delusion. And deluded way you want to move. Find something more fascinating, more terrifying, more tantalizing than the world. That's what people do. You hear a new movie has come with a story of vampires and ghosts, the most horrifying demons you have never seen. You see, people go after it. What a wonderful entertainment. So, you are not only being entertained, your mind has come that always works in that direction. It's not something imagined. There are many people that are always talking about, when they sit down, they are hearing these ghosts, some demons, a memory of someone they met 5 years ago in a temple, and some horror spirit broke his leg and now he can't leave him. He's possessed by it. So this is called Mahajagrat. Rather Jagrat Swapana. You are awake, and what you are creating your own imaginary dream, and you are living more in your imagination than in your waking reality. And then dream. The whole world of reality doesn't satisfy you at all. It's just like a dream is not a satisfying experience. And that's the story of the people who are terrorists. People who live with some strange idea in their head, and then they work out in a terroristic way, kill so many people, and they kill themselves. All the time they are thinking they have done a wonderful thing. Now all the people will know who did it. Previously, they did never turn to give their attention to them. Now he's going to be famous, fabulous, go viral. This is the description of how you are descending into the muds of ignorance. And next one is Swapna Jagrat. Went away, far away from practical world. And even in the world of your imaginary dreams, first it were dreams, or now that has become your reality. And it has become such a reality that this physical world has no meaning for you. Then it called Swapna Jagrata. Dream waking. And lastly, you become completely demented. No matter what happens, you are in deep sleep. It's not samadhi. I plan to cover the 7 stages of knowledge also, but now we will hold off. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om.